Good afternoon. It's May the 12th, 2005. Excuse me. I'm Mayor Livingston, and this afternoon Tom Bush and I, on behalf of the Southwest Georgia Regional Library, will be interviewing Carson Hatcher on his experiences and adventures in World War II. Carson, tell us when you joined the Army.
It was in May of 1944. After I was inducted, we were sent to New Orleans, Camp Fouché, Louisiana, for our basic training. And after that was over, we were sent up to Cheyenne, Wyoming for technical training. And we were up in Wyoming 13 weeks, I believe it was.
Hey, you were working for the railroad when you joined the Army?
Yes, I had been working with them ever since first of 1942. And I had to get my mom and dad to sign that I could go to work for the railroad because that was a dangerous job, and they wouldn't hire me unless they give a miner's release.
Well, then, what did you do with the railroad?
I was a trainman, a brakeman, a flagman, and you have to be out there working with them at least 3 years before you can get promoted to a conductor. And I was on the run a long time with Gene Johnson and Mr. Tom Stegler, the engineer. I don't know whether you remember them or not. But then when I come back after the war was over, I went on a run from here to Montgomery. Stayed on here a good long while.
But now, when you went to Wyoming, though, was when you were with the railroad battalion?
Right. No, at that time we was a replacement.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the battalion had formed before that, and so we were a replacement. Went into that railroad battalion.
Were you trained further when you were in Wyoming?
Yeah.
And
It was nice out there in Wyoming. We liked it. My wife come out to see me one time, and we thought about going back to Wyoming to live.
you changed your mind, though. But, well, where did you go? You said you were working with a railroad battalion. Now, tell us what a railroad battalion would do.
Well, we operated trains and all just like we did here in the States. And of course there was the maintenance company and the operating company. Now they're the ones that actually operated the trains. I was in the headquarters company. And so we was the one that kept up with all the trains and kept the records of what was going in and what was going out and all like that. When we come down to Camp Cleveland, Louisiana from Wyoming, the major, he was in charge of the battalion, he was asking about what all different ones could do, and he asked about could anybody type. And so me and one other soldier, we held up our hands, so they put us in the headquarters company because we knew about bookkeeping and stuff like that as well as railroad.
And you were still you hadn't gone overseas at that point?
No. We left, I don't know exactly, but sometime it's in December 44.
But you had been, when you were in that battalion, y'all went overseas as a railroad?
As a battalion.
Yes. Well, let me ask you this. Did you take the American engines and the cars? You didn't take any equipment?
No. All that stuff, some of it was shipped over, but we operated their equipment over there in Europe, and everything like that.
But they probably had different gauge track.
They have different gauges.
No, the gauge was all right. They had the trains were not coupled together and all like ours were. In fact, a lot of their trains didn't even have brakes on it, nothing but the engine. The engine had to stop the full force of the train. And now like the Americans, ours was all, you know, air brakes and everything from front to back. And anywhere you put the air on, it didn't matter whereabouts in the train, you could stop the train yourself, even on the caboose back there where the the flagman and conductor was. Yeah, we could put the brakes on back there if necessary.
Well, you went from Louisiana to Camp Shanks.
No, Fort Francis E. Warren in Wyoming. And then, you're talking about when we left to
When
go
you-
overseas. Yes, that's right. We went up to Camp Shanks, New York, and that's where we boarded the not the train, the boat to go across. Yeah, and there was quite a few ships in the convoy. I don't remember exactly how many, but I know one night something happened. I don't know what. They never would tell us, but anyway, we hit something or something hit us. And all them automatic doors and everything like that, they all went closed. So as to keep water maybe from getting in from different compartments, you know. And when we started out, the ship, USS George Washington was the flagship, and we were right behind them, and then the others all scattered about. But the next morning, after that, whatever happened that night, the George Washington was not there. So we moved up to be the flagship. But in 2 or 3 days, they caught back up with us and got back in their position as the flagship and went on. But there was only about half of the convoy after that night. Now, what happened to them or where they went, I don't know. But
They never did tell you.
no, they wouldn't tell us that.
This is 1944.
That
And
was,
the U-boats were still a problem.
yes, but not like they were at the beginning, you know.
Yeah.
Nothing like that. But there might not have been a U-boat or whatever. I don't know. They wouldn't tell us that. And the strangest thing was, we all had ammunition. Not that it might have done a good in the gift against the ship, but we had to carry all that ammunition with us. Then they got overseas and they took it all away from us. That's true. I wrote my wife and told her to buy me a cap pistol and some caps and send it to me so I could make a noise.
Well, did you take your rifle?
No, we kept out. Well, I had a carbine, what I had, and the ones with the rifles, well, they had their rifles just like
one.
Yeah.
And you went to, when you landed, you went to Wales?
Yeah, we landed at Swansea, Wales, and when we pulled in the Irish Sea over there, well, that was very smooth water, and that's when again the U-boats must have been somewhere close around, because these sub chasers were all over the airway, you know, and when the whistles going and stuff like that, but we never did see nothing. So I don't know if they never did find nothing, I don't reckon. But we stayed, when we pulled into port, we stayed there all that day until midnight, the next night. That's when we unloaded and got on trains and went into to Glasgow, England. And we were there for 2 weeks. And Glasgow is not too far from Manchester, England. And then when we left and got on trains and traveled all night from there to Southampton. And I don't know the ship that we went on to there to carry us across English Channel. And of course, we had to go over the sides and all down them rope ladders and so forth into the landing barges. And so we landed the next evening in France. And luckily the soldiers operating the barge I happened to be on, we got real close so we didn't get wet like some of them did. Just about our feet and legs a little bit. But then we stepped off into the coldest kind of weather you can imagine.
You landed, but that was after D-Day. D-Day was already coming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And when we left at the big old semi trucks, except it was not a regular semi trailer, it was just a big open trailer. We was carried from there into what they call 20 grand. Well, 20 grand was nothing but a tent city, you might say. And that night, and we liked our roast to death because we didn't have no way heat or anything like that, even though we were in tents. But the next day we tried to, there was little old heaters in the tents. So we got out and got us up some firewood, chopped down every bush or anything else we could find, and chopped it up to where we built a fire in that little heater. It wasn't but about that big around and about that high. But
how many people were in the tent?
either 12 or 16.
Yeah.
And all of the army cots. And I told them all this, they can put the cots, you know, around the heater, all the way around without feet, or if anybody won't sleep with a head. And we only had 2 blankets apiece, which was in our backpacks the night before. That's the reason we, no lights, we couldn't see how to do nothing with that. And so I told them, pull two cots up side by side and put 2 blankets on bottom and then 2 on top, because you got to have just much cover underneath as you have on top to stay warm. And that helped out a whole lot with that heater. And so we in the night, some of us got up and rebuilt the fire, put in more of the little pieces of wood that we had. The next day we boarded the train and in the afternoon again, and we went from there into Potsdam, France, and where we went in and where we to an old bombed out hospital building, and we stayed there. Oh, I don't know exactly how long, but during the time we were there was, of course, a railroad yard there, and a lot of ammunition in all trains and supplies like that. But one day this German plane, he come in there circling around, and they was firing at him and all that. And he dropped one little old 500-pound bomb, and that set off the whole yard. I mean, it flattened everything. And so I don't know why they couldn't shoot him down, but he dropped that little old 500-pound bomb and all that ammunition, and it tore up buildings, everything that wasn't already torn up. I reckon 3 or 4 blocks around. And then while we was there,
Did anybody hurt?
not in our.
Not in your.
No, we all took cover, and it happened that when that happened. Actually, I was not down that day, but there was our captain and 3 or 4 others was up at the old hospital building, which wasn't too far away, but it tore up everything, even blowed all the windows and everything out that far away. And So there again, we had another cold spell. We went in and had to sleep on a hard floor about like this one in here. And of course, even put down your blankets and everything, and sleep with all your clothes on, your shoes and everything, except a steel helmet. And the next day we got out there and hunted and found an old stove, like the old time wood stove, cook stove. And we found some pipes, so we run a pipe up out through where the window was, and we found some stuff to close it up. And so that helped a whole lot. But that first night there was about 2 or 3 inches of snow coming on top of us, and even blowing in just from the window.
Well, when you were there, that was at Soissons?
That was a Soissons, France.
Yeah. Had you gone to work on the railroad?
Oh yeah. As soon as we got there, we went to work.
Were you repairing the railroads?
Yeah, they had to. It didn't do so much damage on the ground, you know, because the explosion more or less goes up, as you know, and it didn't tear up the rails and bed and stuff like that. But after we got things going back again, they were switching down there, and some of them dumb Frenchmen, they went and kicked the other cars down in on an ammunition train, and it started blowing. So some of our men took one of the engines and left 7 cars, and they pulled the rest of it out of town, you might say. And of course, each one of them cars would blow, and then another one and another like that. And
could the Americans operate the French engines?
Oh yeah.
I mean, they were just a steam engine.
Well, it's just like a car, you know. It's very simple. So that helps a whole lot.
Did y'all run the trains going out to the front?
Oh yeah, the trains, Army, the operating company, they operated the trains and went from one place to another. And of course, it's mostly what they were handling was some kind of war material.
Yeah.
And moving things, not only ammunition, but vehicles or tanks or whatever kind of vehicle as far forward to the front line as possible. And then it was unloaded and they'd come back with an empty train. So they, after we left there, we went from there to Carson, France. And we wasn't there very long before then the Allies had had gone far enough that we went from there into Namur, Belgium. And there again, when we were on the road or anything, we traveled at night time. Didn't matter how cold it was, nothing else. But anyway, we got to Namur the next morning then. So.
And were you on the engine or the caboose or?
No, I was in headquarters.
You were still in headquarters?
Oh yeah, all the time, after I got to the battalion. And so we, the one more or less give what kind of orders to move and this, that, and other, you know, and what went out and what come in, and telegraph operators and all such as that.
Well, was that where you were operating the largest railroad yard?
No, that's where, while I was at Namur, while some of us had gone back, I can't remember the name of the small place we was at, to get that line going. So then they called me back sent me in a soldier with the name of Thornton. I can't remember what his name was. We was good friends and all. But that's when they sent us down to Charlottesville. That's where the big European railroad yard was. The biggest one was over there. I don't mean that we repaired track or anything like that, but we got the trains to move into where with the two of us, we had all that to do. I mean, you know, and which isn't nothing hard about it or anything. It just
What you did is awesome.
just operate sometime all day and all night and stuff like that.
Well, now, was the switching similar to I was over here where you pulled?
Very similar. Now, they didn't have automatic couplers for the cars like we do. They had bumpers, things on each side at the end of the cars, and like two cars went together, and of course that was spring loaded, and then you had a big old chain link, looked like a link out of a big old log chain, that you turned over and caught on the hook of the other car. But see, there's no air brakes and nothing. And
And you had to drop that in when
they did, yeah, the operating crews, they done that. But that flip that over. Everybody had to carry a pole with them about 5 or 6 feet to do that, to reach in there so they wouldn't get in between cars and get killed or something. But it got away, you know, you got used to it. And some of the later equipment, when it got further on up into Germany, now that was, they had more modern than the French or the English did.
Who operated the trains, the French or the Americans?
No, the Americans operated most of the trains, the soldiers, yeah. Or the French done some of it, but all the stuff basically was American supplies and American operated and delivered. And that, after the Belgian Boers, why, a lot of us had to go into the infantry. Not only people from the railroad battalions, but Air Force and everything else had to go into the infantry.
That's when you got your rifle back.
Yes, that's right. They give me a new one. You know, what was bad about it whenever they stole my carbine, the dadgum company Captain Hathaway, he was going to watch all of our stuff while we unloaded. And the office equipment and all such as that. And he let somebody come by and pick up my carbine. So then the next thing I got was that M1, and that was not easy to carry around as that carbine was.
But you were actually, then you became in the infantry.
Infantry, and then into the 1st Allied Airborne. Now, that was Americans, French, English, Belgians, you know, just the general. And they was the one that was traveling all that where they could on these gliders that the C-47s pulled behind them. And whenever they cut loose, why, you didn't know where you'd go. You hit, a lot would wind up in a forest, a lot would get in a field somewhere that it was all right, but it was dangerous. Usually tore the thing all to pieces. Thank goodness I never did have to ride in one. But if I'd stayed that much longer, I would have. But I wouldn't want none of that.
But you didn't have, you never had to make a parachute jump.
No.
Yeah.
No, that was strictly those gliders.
Yeah.
Rode the gliders. They were.
Did you never rode in one?
No, I didn't have no desire to ride in one. They were very handy in the invasion of Europe, you know, whenever they invaded and went into France and so forth like that. they were very good then, because they were going over and behind the German troops. And of course, the one that's coming in by barge and stuff like that, while they had to hit the water and hope to get to shore. And that was the main thing they were used for.
Well, at the Battle of the Bulge, did you face any Germans there, or just?
No, not directly. No, some of the battalion were in some of it, but I reckon me being in headquarters company is one reason I didn't, because we didn't get into all the actual fighting or anything there in the Belgian Bulge. There were some of our crews that might have been involved some way, because once they had carried a train up front as far as it go, and they just got there, and all the gunfire going off all around them and everything, and they realized what was happening, and so they cut the engine off, and all the crew jumped on the engine and went backwards and got out of it. And so I imagine that train, that engine went backwards as fast as it's ever been before.
Well, you didn't have turntables up that turn?
No, didn't see any of those at all. And I'm sure there was some somewhere, but I didn't know about them if there were.
Now, you mentioned the V2s, were they?
Oh yeah, those V1s and V2s, I can't remember which one it was, but you could see them going over. They didn't travel very fast. In fact, if they had been a little lower, you could have shot them down probably with rifle fire. But one of those, I don't know which it was, that engine sounded about like a two-cylinder motorboat.
That's the V1. The V2 is the V2 is the rocket that goes almost into space. You don't see that. If it made a noise that you could hear, it was the V1, the buzz bomb.
Well, whenever that thing cut off, you didn't know where it was going. It allowed to come back and get you, even though it's done passed. Because we had some of that happening. They just go wild whenever the fuel give out. But one night in Antwerp, Belgium, there was a big theater, and there was 500 and something other men in there, and most all of them was soldiers, and they managed to hit that, and it killed just about all of them. And that was in Antwerp, Belgium, was where it was. Then after the war was over in May, I can't remember the exact date, PE Day was. Some of us went on into Berlin, then they had us in what they call deployment. They would either send you back to the United States, send you directly to the South Pacific, or to the South Pacific by the United States. But one morning early they come in there, and we was all in tents, and come in there and woke me and two other men up, and told us to get up to the orderly room right quick. We was leaving. Well, we didn't know where we was going, and said, leave your rifle, your helmet, anything of that nature, just leave it on the bunk, on the cot. And so that's when they took, and we went back into Paris, France, and it took us 2 days to get out of Paris, France, on account of so much fog in Berlin that they couldn't land and so forth. And so they took.
You didn't know where you were going?
Well, we knew then. I mean, there was no secret then. But we landed at Tempelhof Airport in Berlin. That was for the Potsdam Conference. That's when Truman, Stalin, Churchill, and General de Gaulle, and all of the big generals and colonels and stuff like that. And they sent a lot of us in to help out in the conference. Not that we ever was in where the leaders were like Eisenhower, President Truman, or any of them. We done work, whatever we done, they typing or anything like that, why, they, you know, we saw them all, but
Well, now,
we wasn't allowed too close.
you did mention the other day, one of the reasons they selected you, you had a good record.
Oh yeah, there was nobody up there in that Potsdam Conference unless he had a perfect record. And I was real proud to hear about this. They told us that that of all the soldiers that was picked to go up there that had a perfect record, there's over 67% of them come from down south.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course we had them from all over. But the other two men, one of them named North, and the other one was Oscar Wiley. He was from out at Tulsa, Oklahoma. And North was from up there, I think Norfolk, Virginia. I've often wondered if this same Colonel North that you see on TV, I wondered if that was possibly his son or something like that. But it might have been, it might not have been. But
Well, you did cross, were you in, maybe you outfit, y'all went across the Elk River and had to pull back?
Oh yeah. They pulled back over, well, it was 18 miles over at the crossing. Then they pulled us back to allow the Russians to take over Berlin. And that was a mistake. But it was too late when they found out about it, because, you know, it was right shortly after the war there that they blockaded Berlin.
Right.
And of course, I had already left to come home before that all happened.
Did you know the significance of Potsdam when you were there, Carson?
Did what now?
Did you know what was going on there?
Oh yeah, we knew what we were working on, you know, and everything. Of course, the Russians, they done all the guard duty and stuff like that. And of course, the Americans, we all had our own mess halls and everything like that. Even though there was a lot of senators and representatives and stuff like that that would come in and eat with us and sit down and talk with us and stuff like that. And even Mickey Rooney, he was assigned our outfit one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I sat right across the table from him, eating and talking with him and stuff like that. Then Bob Hope, he come into Berlin while the conference was going on, and to help entertain the troops and so forth. And they all done a good job. Of course, Mickey Rooney and his crew was at entertainment. They were just assigned to our outfit at that time. They didn't stay with us too long.
But your main job at that was typing up the reports.
Typing and checking everything that when we went down, being Thornton, we had to keep a record of what everything went on every train or anything come in, what it was. Of course, sometimes coming back, now this is kind of horrible, but it'd be bringing back old uniforms and boots and stuff like that. I know I hate to say this, but some of the boots, the feet were still in there. And of course, we didn't have to handle them, but I saw them. And they were not loaded in boxcars, it's more or less those gondola type, you know, it's just had about 3-foot high body around. Then after the Potsdam Conference was over, they assigned us to different companies. Some of them went to like the MPs and stuff like that. And for some unknown reason, they assigned me to a bakery company. I had never baked nothing in my life. but at least I was a personnel sergeant, so I didn't have to worry with the bakery. That others handled that part. But that was almost just like a regular civilian army would be here in the States.
Well, at that point, the war was over.
Yes.
Did you guys, yeah, but it wasn't over then in Japan. Did you fellows figure on?
Everybody was afraid they'd be sent directly to the South Pacific. And of course, at least we was all wishing we'd get to come to the United States, maybe and have a little furlough or something like that before we'd go on over. But whenever they, like after the Potsdam Conference was over and we was assigned to different outfits like that, well, I stayed there until in April of '46.
You stayed there nearly a year.
Yeah, in Berlin, yeah. Well, I went to Berlin on July the 10th, 1945. And one reason makes it easy for me to remember, because my oldest brother's birthday was July the 10th.
Yeah.
So that made it easy for me to remember the day that I went into Berlin. And of course, at that time, everything was not settled like it is, but the war was over as far as that goes. But I mean, you know, it was still some pot shots and stuff like that. Nothing amount to that.
You told me about talking a soldier out of suicide.
About which is that?
Didn't you? You talked a soldier, a friend of yours was going to think of suicide.
Oh, well, I'd rather not even talk about that. But
Well, this is part of what you did.
yeah, well, he was actually, this is when we was in Berlin, and he got a letter, one of those Dear John letters, that's what we call it, from his wife, and she was wanting a divorce and all this, that, and the other, and he, unbeknownst to anybody, he didn't get permission from the orderly room or from the captain or lieutenant or nothing. He went over to headquarters and directly to the general to try to get permission to come home. And well, he did come home, because that all happened while, and the general got through chewing us out over that in the office while he got to come back and go ahead of everything else, you know. I mean, they did let him leave and come back to the United States. But that was good. But he was talking about going to commit suicide and all this, that, and the other.
When you were in the bakery company, you were promoted to first sergeant.
Right, that's
you
right.
You were going on.
That's what I was, whenever I left to come home, my time come to come home, I was first sergeant at that time. And even though where they moved us over to we still would stay there about 2 weeks before we'd leave, actually, to be shipped out, and they let me stay over there at the bakery company and train the company clerk on the what to do and everything in the first sergeant's job.
But you didn't bake anything.
No, I'm afraid not. I don't imagine they'd need it. If I'd had a mix of that bacon, they would need it.
And you came back to Fort Bragg.
Yeah, we loaded Bremerhaven, Germany. That's where we boarded the boat to come back. Of course, we come back just a single ship by itself, you know, coming back. But they started off that the privates would be the ones that worked KP and stuff like that the first day, and privates and PFCs and stuff like that. And then the corporals are well, I think they call them T5 or something. But anyway, on up. So the morning we was coming into New York there, it fell our time to do the KP and stuff like that. I'm talking about not only sergeants and stuff like that, but I'm talking about lieutenants and all like that. First and second lieutenants, they was working just like we were. But we didn't get through in time that we could come out as we come by the Statue of Liberty and come by there and so forth.
I bet that looked good to you.
Oh man, yeah, yes, sure did.
And then you came home and got discharged, came home.
Come on, yeah, we left there to wherever we went, you know, to go to be discharged. Why, whoever was the highest ranking, why they had to take care of the records and everything for the group that was going to them. Lucky I only had me and one other man that was coming to Fort Bragg, so I mean, there's others coming to Fort Bragg, but the only ones in my group that I had to keep the records and all that. And then when we got to Fort Bragg, why, that was early one morning, and we started turning in things, you know, like everything that had to turn in. Then the next morning they come in and told us on Monday morning, told us that we'd be discharged the next afternoon, Tuesday afternoon around 2 or 2:30, and that all took place. And there was all kind of taxi cabs and everything, and people that wasn't taxi operators that was out that wanted to take a load of us, like so-and-so to Atlanta, and had one that was going to go to Tallahassee. I told him no, I thought I'd got back that far without getting killed. I didn't want to get out there and get killed in a car wreck and them running 75 and 80 miles an hour.
Well, what did you do, get a train?
Oh, yeah, on a train, yeah, me and the same man that was with me coming out of camp, what is it, up there in New Jersey. I can come in. But anyway, Camp Kilburn, New Jersey. And me and him, we didn't join none of them. So we caught a train, Tammy and the champion, up at Fayetteville, North Carolina, and come into Savannah, and he lived at Pembroke, so he went on his train on out that way, and I come on into Bainbridge on a train from Savannah. And that was a good feeling to be back home.
I bet it was. Carson, it's wonderful that we appreciate you doing this. Is there anything you'd like to add that we hadn't covered?
No, don't know of anything. I'm just glad that actually I had a part.
Well, certainly. Well, on behalf of the American people, thank you.
Thank you
for
Bill.
what you did.
Appreciate you.
And then for you guys, we might have trouble.
Well, that's true. That's true. It was a lot different. I know you was in the Korean War, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, when the whole world is involved in war, that's kind of bad.